Uh, Thank you for being patient since morning, and I'm almost in the middle of the all these sessions where I'm going to speak on this topic: Indian food, the best in the world. I know this has been a topic of debate for quite some time, but scales are on our side since COVID, where almost the entire world has realized in their subconscious mind future lies here in India. Before this forum, mostly I have spoken with the government organizations or on the behalf of industry bodies, where we have been trying to convince government, and lately governments have started hearing us. I actually believe India is a place which has always given idea to the world, and food is something which has always brought everyone together. There was a session, 2 sessions back, where the life was from cradle to coffin. So same is the case with the food. My grandfather used to tell us कि खाने की क्वालिटी, खाने का टेस्ट explains खाना ऐसा होना चाहिए which increase your happiness when you are happy and which reduce your sadness when you are sad. And we Indians have actually taught the world कि right from cradle to coffin, we celebrate and we reduce our sorrows with food. We remember the people who have gone with the help of food, and we celebrate the people who have arrived in this world with the food. In fact, our first crush, matlab, I'll clear everyone's doubt, our first crush, everyone, is food. मतलब कुछ भी मतलब आप now you can go back and see मतलब people whom you love, people whom you trust, there might be instances where they are not ready to listen to you, where they are not ready to cooperate with you, but your favorite food will always be there to crush all your thoughts, all your aspiration, it will always be there with you. And world's most colorful, most evolved, most thoughtful, and most inspiring is food. These are very common things, story in every bite, every cuisine can say that. But I have learned this from the way my elders have always been telling stories or always been sharing things. It's all about imperfection, which makes us more of a human. One of my mentor has told me ki how we differentiate ourselves from the remaining everything which can breathe or which can move. How we humans are different is we normally speak. If I speak in your language that we can think in 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, all any other creature cannot see into that. But what makes us actually more human is food. It makes us more human because we are the only species which process the food, which takes food to the next stage, third stage, fourth stage, fifth stage, sixth stage, seventh stage, eighth stage. It might start from grain, and it might go from one processing, second processing, third processing, fourth processing, fifth processing. N number of stages we can make it cross. And sense of belongingness comes to our own self when we start doing something with the food. Even if we cook, even if we make tea, it makes us feel special when we tell somebody कि ये चाय मैंने अपने हाथ से बनाई है, and people love it. लोग उसकी बहुत तारीफ करते हैं. Each region a unique culinary identity, a cuisine as diverse as India itself. Every cuisine is known by its country name: Italian, Moroccan, Russian, Japanese, Thai. I don't see a word anywhere it's Indian cuisine, because we are a land where we have more cuisines than we have number of states. We have more cuisines than we have number of districts. South Indian cuisine, North Indian cuisine, then in North Indian it's Rajasthani cuisine, it's Punjabi cuisines, and world over in menus you will find it like that only. If you go to London, you will have restaurants where in menu you will find Rajasthani cuisine, South Indian cuisine, Punjabi cuisine, where they will be listing it out, but there will be a corner, they will be writing Thai cuisine. Means they have covered an entire country, but it is difficult to cover us. And I always say this, if somebody has to write encyclopedia on food, there has to be bare minimum 2, because entire thing cannot be put into one. One has to be the Indian one, and the one has to be for the rest of the world. And still, ours will have more to speak about, more to tell about, and more to think about. I have been part of a family which has been into the food business for more than 200 years. जितना मैं जानता हूँ, I am the 5th generation, and 2 more generations ahead of me are already into the business, into the same line. And with the time, our things have evolved. But trust me, I have been a food technologist. I have got myself trained into best of the institutes, and have seen all those cuisines. And after working on the field, working with my family, I actually realized that somehow we take, less pride in our own food. But the best part of being an Indian is, since I'm talking about food, I'll put it across as food. Every cuisine which has arrived here has not only arrived, it has arrived and evolved. It has no cuisine which has arrived in India has ever got dissolved. Means we have accepted and we have evolved that cuisine, whether it's Mughlai, whether it is Avdi, whether it is now we are talking about Chinese, whether we are talking about Japanese. We have not only we have accepted them, we have given our own twist. But you won't find the same thing being reciprocated by those people, because for them it is very difficult to understand us. What Indian food can do, what Indian food bring on the table, colorful, tasteful, all the sensory gets activated when you are talking about Indian food. This is one thing which I have been debating on every forum which ever I have been on. A little on the technical side, world has almost close to 18 to 20 climatic zones, where world is being divided agroclimatic zones. And you will be surprised, India has 15, which are capable of, making or producing any food. So I always say this, India has the potential to become the food super bowl of the world. Potential because we ourselves don't believe that we can become the super bowl of the world. The moment we start believing that we are the ones who are going to feed the world, because our food is actually going to be the future. It was the past, it is the present, and it will be the future. Future because still the acceptance has to come from our own side. We ourselves need to take pride. Whatever we have learned, whatever we have been doing, whatever we have been making is actually the best. 15 climatic zones means अगर किसी भी country का, if there is some commodity which is very typical to them, let's suppose rice to Thailand. For us, rice is part of a small place where 2-3 places where rice is a bigger commodity. Some places it will be lentils. So India has some places where lentils are very dominant. Some places will have very apples growing. Turkey has very good in apples. So we have Himachal, which is very good at apple. We have almost all the climatic zone which is capable of producing agro commodity. So we are capable of producing everything and anything which the world is producing world over. Now, why we have not been able to do? We always had the technique, but where we lacked was we never converted those techniques into technologies. Where we never, were bothered, or probably more than botheration, we were never given a chance where our techniques can be converted into technologies. Everyone is aware of steaming. Everybody makes dhokla. Extrusion, we make bhujia. And bhujia, I don't know from where. Once I was, attending the class of Mr. Sajid Alavi, and he was telling me, Ashish, Americans have done a great work on extrusion, and extrusion is the future. And I was surprised. I told him, I'm the 5th generation who is doing extrusion. Yeah. And bhujia is part of extrusion. हमारे घरों में we are already so-called fritters, जिसको हम पकोड़े बोलते हैं हिंदी में, it's like extrusion. But हमने उसमें वो electricity का plug लगाना भूल गए, which makes it actually the technology. If we had done that, we would have been the leaders, and our products would have been accepted worldwide. We are living in an era where we are talking so much about gluten-free, vegan, low glycemic index. I'll tell you, Bikaneri bhujia is a gluten-free product, is vegan, and is low on glycemic index. I'll tell you a small story. Our entire country has, उनके जितने भी areas हैं, they have evolved according to their climatic conditions. If you go 50 years back, we have never went against the tide. We have always accepted the nature और हमारा खाना वैसे evolve हुआ. I come from a part of the country जहाँ पे droughts are very common. So, भुजिया का evolution उसी drought से था. It comes from a crop which requires hardly 10 to 20 mm of rain, and that crop easily happens in that part of the country. उसके बाद that crops used to come in and around Diwali. So what they used to do was वो उस crop से वड़ी बना लेते थे, and they used to make in a quantity कि अगर इन सर्दी गर्मियों में अगर drought हुआ तो हमारे पास खाने को क्या होगा. Okay. And I'll tell you, all those wadis, when I take them to my European friends who are working with us, जब मैं उन्हें थोड़ा Indian context में introduce करवाता हूँ तो उन्हें लगता है कि they are having some alien stuff, but I tell them कि it is a lentil steak which if you boil it for 2 minutes and add on any kind of dip you love it, it will become your own cuisine. And they think that India is adapting some other cuisine which they are not aware of. So it is important for us to start communicating, whether it's their language or our language, where they need to accept that what we are making at our homes is actually going to survive everlasting. Being the 5th generation, not only it's have been our bread and butter, but for us, for everyone, it's love, connection, celebration, legacy. हम क्या pass on कर पाते हैं? Somebody was talking about YouTube channel, land, but our food, if we are able to pass on to our next generation, actually we are able to pass on our entire culture. I request everyone, if you are doing journaling, please start doing journals, the food you consume at your home, so that it actually keeps on passing. I made this slide just to tell you कि मतलब how ahead we are. मतलब हम बहुत पहले बहुत आगे थे, and I don't know for how long world will be catching up with us. मेदू वड़ा versus donut are famous. मतलब हमें मेदू वड़ा को डोनट कहना पड़ता है समझाने के लिए, but again I'll tell you, donut is non-vegan, it's high on gluten, and it has very high glycemic index. मेदू वड़ा scores on all the 3 fronts. Just that we ourselves don't take pride. मैंने सुबह मॉर्निंग में ब्रेकफास्ट पे देखा है, people pick donut with a pride and मेदू वड़ा with a little guilt. But it actually has to be vice versa. ढोकला versus cake. Now give me one reason why मतलब ढोकला has to be considered as something which is cannot be part of an healthy cuisine. Very rarely people mention it, but it takes less time than to make a cake. No chemical to make a dhokla, and again, if I list again those 3-4 trends, dhokla scores on everything. It's again low on no zero gluten, no sugar, low GI, 100% vegan. The way you make it, the way you want to make it. Dosa, chilla versus pancake. I can debate on this, for the entire day. Means you give me anything from any part of the country and compare it with anything. क्या probably जितना I'm not here demeaning any food culture, but जो actual में cuisine हम accept करते आ रहे हैं, there is no problem where we are helping other cuisines to evolve, but we need to accept कि we are already with the best, and we are just not helping ourselves. We need to take our kids rather than to any pizza joints or momo joints. We need to take them to dosa joints. We need to take them to dhokla joints. We need to take them more to pani puri joints. We need to take them more to. For kind information, I'll tell you, pani puri is the best way to deliver any nutraceutical to your body. Mix it with that tangy pani. कुछ भी mix करिए उसके साथ, and you can have that. आपको medicine लेने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. Health and heritage on a plate. I thought I must add, and I purposefully use this word turmeric latte, because we have all been through COVID, and everyone had shifted to Indian style of eating the food from what we were eating all these years. And when somebody told ki haldi ka doodh le lo, so it was sounding very old and advice from grand, 2 generations back. But when somebody told ki in market there is a cure to COVID, which is known as turmeric latte, they were like they are a cut above the rest. One thing I have noticed, the more we have gone above on the education ladder, one thing what we have missed is we have not taken our food along with us. We have fancied ourselves in carrying other cuisines with us. If we take this one thing along, because we are the generation which is right now leading the world. And if we can take our food along, we are not only doing a service to India, we are doing this service to entire humanity. I've completely mentioned this is the best in the world, whether you talk about diversity, whether you talk about flavors, whether you talk about culture. जितना हम कर रहे हैं फूड के लिए, जितना हम कर चुके हैं, I'll tell you, go to any sweet shop. Most welcome if any of the guys visit to Bikaner, do visit our retail showrooms, do visit our factories, where I'll tell you ki our basic kitchens have more than 50, 60, 70 ingredients of which we are making daily food products, making daily different of variants, where we always talk about how we can make it more palatable, how we can make it more appealing, how we can make it more colorful. While joining business way back in 2011, I had thought I'll suggest my father to incorporate some biscuits, some crackers. But the more and more I went close to my own food, my entire theory has shifted. And in fact, now I am working with all my team, where I want to actually streamline, not the bar in the name of yoga, but actually chikkis, which are actually, which are the form of, delivering energy directly to our bodies. Dal bati mein, bati evolved as a war food, which became a cuisine. राजपूत जब वॉर पे जाते थे तो अपने साथ बाटी लेके जाते थे, क्योंकि 20-20 दिन खराब नहीं होती थी, धूप में गर्म होकर सिक जाती थी, और रात को खाने के बाद सुबह दे वर अगेन रेडी. मतलब rather than blaming our own lifestyles, unfortunately we are blaming our own food. This is something where Indian food actually needs the help. There is no need to create any new recipe. Actually, we need to design the food now. We need to present the food where can we carry our food just the way we can carry a Frankie. Can we carry a dosa? I hope time is not very far, where in an office, besides a vending machine of coffee, we can see a vending machine for a dosa. This is the theory which our family had always had, and Indi has helped us in articulating this, where we believe enjoying good food is celebration of life. Even when somebody leaves this world, our near and dear ones, for people this is a sorrow, but we pray to the God and celebrate it कि जहाँ पे भी वो गया है वो खुश रहे, और उसके बिना जो अधूरा हो गया है उसे strength दे कि they can restart their life. And we celebrate that person by making all those things which they love and remembering them all their good deeds. This was the last year we started after discussing all this Eka Vishwa Swada, where food is the only thing which brings people together, which allows people to sit together, which allows people to discuss things. आज भी we invite best of the conversation, have over a cup of tea, coffee or food. So keep meeting over food, keep appreciating our own cuisines. I hope from here we take Indian food to the next level. Thank you everyone.